the fossil fuels that they are talking about, that means that we will lead to evacuation and whatever else. The public means are going to use more of it because they move places to places and they have different amounts of oil. Of course, they carry the largest amount. Besides that, having a large number of students in the same vehicle would easily spread diseases. Chair, the use of cars cannot allow the easy spread of diseases because we are having only 4 people in the car. If we are all 12 flu, fine then. But if we are in a bus and we are 60, all of us will get the same disease, just like in the pandemic of COVID-19. The first thing to be stopped from operating was transport, especially public means. So why do you think the government was so stupid to say that private means of transport should be able to operate during that time? These drivers do not care about our lives. All they care is the amount of money in their pockets. Yeah, we can prove this because even if they were professionals and if they have licenses, they will never care about our lives. They care about what is in their pocket, what they are going to use to eat, and what they are going to give their families. We are preferring the private cars because my dad, my mom will be taking me to school and I won't get any problem on the road because they know I'm their child, they know how they struggle to get me, they know my value in their lives. So they want to just mess up to make me get a problem and be in the hospital. Besides that, chair, really, we would rather be slow than be in hospital paying large sums of money because we are in a public need and the public in the bus got an accident. That wouldn't be something for us to care about if we use the private means of transport.
Dear Judge, allow me to begin by rebutting. The negative side came here and spoke about, we gave them an argument that expenditure will be increased due to the amount of fuel that is used by the private means of vehicles on roads. We see that these private means of vehicles are too many. So that means that they will be using much more fuel than one bus that is using about 60 liters for its full tank. But whereas we find that, yes, you say that they have different tanks which take different amounts of fuel. So yes, we do not deny that. But we see that there are very many number of private vehicles which will be using a lot of fuel due to them having small amounts of tanks which will take small amounts of fuel, but there will be many. So that means it will be increased. They also spoke about reckless drivers driving these public means of vehicles. We see that when schools and other operating areas that use these vehicles, when they are going to employ these drivers, they first see their driving skills. They first ask for their driving permit. They first take them out for a drive so that they can see, are they able to transport our children safely? I move on to the number. They were speaking about accidents in the public means of vehicles. Yes, we don't deny that some cases have been reported that public means of vehicles have had accidents. But we see in the report of 2022, the number of reports that were reported of accidents were majorly private vehicles, and those vehicles were occupied by a number of about 3 to 6. So we see the number of death rates are increasing. Even in 2024, we see that the number of cases that have been reported of accidents are also of private means of vehicles. I move on to our team arguments. We spoke about increase in pollution. We see that, yes, all vehicles pollute, but we do see that the amount of pollution that is contributed by a public mean of transport is much more less than the amount of pollution contributed by about 80 vehicles on the road that are not publicly used. We also spoke about these public means of vehicles being able to transport a large number of people. We see that here we are also favoring climate change, and at the same time we are favoring people without vehicles. So if these public means of vehicles are removed in existence, what do you expect those people who are not able to buy buy private means of vehicles to use. We also spoke about congestion on roads. We do see that the number of vehicles that are the number of private vehicles on roads are much more than the number of public means. With those judges, allow me to go to my course. Did you read the article? This house supports public means of transport against driving to school. Our dear judge, one of the speakers from the proposition side has told us that in 2023, when we make research, it's private cars they are private cars which caused a lot of accidents. But I want to assure you that if you make research, they are not private cars, because private cars are driven by parents. So this simply means that parents are skillful and they know that if they knock, they will be able to harm their children. But when you take an example of public means, it's a driver even who is not known to the children, and these drivers are not skillful. So this simply means that if it's a public mean, my parent will be driving me. But if it's a private mean, my parent will be driving me. But if it's a public car, it's a person even whom I don't know. So this simply means that these people will cause a lot of accidents because they are not skillful. We had one of our points, which is private means are safer. When we use these private means, this simply means that when we use private means, this simply means that they are not in bad mechanical conditions. Because my parent knows if my car is in bad mechanical conditions, when I transport my child in that car, I will be able to harm him or her, and they are safer. When my parent knows that he or she is sick, will be able to wear a mask so that he can prevent me from getting a disease. But our dear judge, on our side of the house, we are promoting safety. But on their side of the house, they are not showing us how they will promote safety, because we have told them that these public means are exposed to the public. So this simply means that when these public means are exposed to the environment, so this means that whether I'm sick, whether I'm not sick, I'll be able to enter. And most of them are communicable diseases that will be spread. So tell us how you are trying to solve the problem of communicable diseases when we are telling you that our cars are safer. They had their point as increased number of vehicles produce many fumes. Compare the point of ours, which was private means are safer. When these public means are safer, they will not be able. When you are telling us that increased number of vehicles on the road promote pollution, but when you compare pollution and life, which one is better? Our dear judge, do you want us to promote the environment and live life? So we are taking that point. Our dear judge, I beg to rest my case.
Chitani Maisha. The two competing teams and the entire house are duty off once again. Chair, private cars are safe than public means of transport. Here we say that our parents will be taking us to school or a private driver unless our parents are unable. While the proposition are entrusting their lives with strangers. Here, we really believe that the point of being safer is on our side, which we don't see in the negation. And the point of the expenditure is still the point of being spending too much on fossil fuel is on our side, because we are saying that 80 buses bring amounts of oil while private cars brings in. The negators talked about that easy spread of diseases in public means of transport. How sure are you that also in private means of transport there will not be easy spread of diseases? We also talked about accidents in public means of transport. I had already left a question for you. How do you guarantee that in private means of transport there will not be accidents? Yes, we talked about expenses. It is expensive. What shall we do for parents who cannot afford to buy cars? It is expensive. Even when those parents have cars, some of them cannot afford to get a driving license. And you said some drivers mind less about people's lives. Even that driver is a person. How do you guarantee that you not mind about other people's life? Dear Judge, I rest my case.
So, you guys have done wonderfully, but as any debate, there has to be a winner and there has to be a runner up. You don't lose, you just run up. So, before I tally up the total marks, allow me to give a few remarks. So, if I go things clearly, team affirmative was standing on the side of pollution, probably having a lot of these vehicles on the road, watching out for the future and stuff like that. So I think, yeah, you did wonderfully. I remember there is a point where, yeah, team negators here